All right, this is our inaugural playoff show. Welcome to Rams Recap. Before we start, I do want to apologize to our viewers. There was a family emergency last week, so I was not able to bring you the wild card. So apologies for that. But here we are. We are in the divisional recap show. There's two more wins from the Super Bowl. My partner, I am of course E with Jay. Jay's recovering from his sore throat, so hopefully he feels better in time for Championship Sunday. So before we start, what was your take of the whole game?
What's up, partner? Glad to be back once again. But my first take in the game, hey, we almost got it. It almost slipped away at the end. We started off good, but we can't let that happen no more in the playoffs. But I'm excited. We're one step closer to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, indeed, we are one step ahead, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But let's talk about this incredible matchup of the four from this past weekend. And I have to say, um, this one had to take the cake from all the other matchups. I mean, no pun intended. The Buffalo Denver was more exciting too, as well. That one went into the closing seconds. That one went to overtime, but this one has to take the cake because of that fourth down play by Khalid Williams. What do you think of that as well?
Oh yeah, you can't forget about that play, man. It was insane. It was a back and forth down to the wire. Well, overtime victory by the Rams.
So let's go ahead and give you the stats of this game. Here are the leaders for the Rams. And partner, surprisingly, Matthew Stafford, no touchdown passes, but no turnovers as well. You impressed by that?
Yeah, I love the no turnovers after what happened the last couple weeks before the season.
Yeah, you also look at Matthew Stafford right here, 20 of 42 for 258. Kyron Williams is the only player that scored the touchdowns for the Rams. 21 carries, 87 yards, two touchdowns, but he also had four catches for 30 yards. So are you impressed that Kyron Williams actually stepped up here as the leading player for this football team?
Yeah, I love it. I feel like we have to utilize him more and keep it like that. From his last year mistakes fumbling the ball, so far he's doing great this year.
Yeah, he seems to redeem himself after that 49er loss a couple of months ago. You see other players, Kobe Parkinson continues to develop into this system. Three catches, 56 yards. You also see Puka Nakua, five catches, 56 yards, but he has some key plays in the second half, including in overtime. And then you see Winnington, two catches, 35 yards. Tyler Higbee didn't have much on the ground, but was able to pick up a key first down early in the game. And then you see Devontae Adams, their partner. Not much catches there, but he only had two catches, but one of them was the big one that helped set up the field goal.
Yeah, he was targeted seven times, but that was the key first down, which shows his superstar athleticism, which he got the job done. Much, no needed much. And don't forget, partner, we came into this game with with Soldier Field at 20 degrees, felt like 10 degrees, in which a lot of people were talking about the Rams being in the cold, but that did not matter.
Well, keep in mind that Rams are a dome team. SoFi Stadium is considered a dome. They also were a dome team when they were in St. Louis, but before they became a dome team, they were an outside team. Before they were here in Los Angeles before, but then when they went to St. Louis, they played one season outside, and then they became a dome team. When they came back here, they were an outside team, and they're considered a dome team now. But you see the pictures here. This is the one I was telling you about that Devontae Adams had that key catch here. So I think that's very shows why the Rams got him and they're paying him all that money. Now let's talk about the defense, which a lot of us are very I was impressed. You look at stats here, look at Cam Curl, he had a game high for the Rams, 13 tackles. He had seven solo by himself. And partner, he had the key interception that set up that game winning drive in overtime.
Yes, Cam Curl with the big interception in that overtime to get
See
the
it right
Niners the
here in
ball
this
back.
picture. He caught that ball, and again, I thought that was going to be a touchdown, but he read the play right. He read the route. He knew where Williams was going, and he was there at the right time. And then you look at players as Nate Landman. He had 10 tackles. You see Omar Spies 8 tackles. Cameron Kitchens he had 7 tackles, and then the up the line Byron Young he had 5 tackles. So did Jaron Verse, aka Aaron Donald Jr. 3 tackles, and then here's the big one here. Kobe Durant, partner, 2 tackles, but he had 2 interceptions off Kyron Williams in the game.
Yeah, our defense has been amazing, and I love it. I love seeing our defense out there. As you could see how they with their stats, they contributed, but you can't forget about that Kobe Durant, like you mentioned, 2 interceptions, and that first interception was in the first drive for the Bears, correct? After we
Yeah, it
scored.
was the first drive. It was the first drive they were marching down the field, and then Durant just picked it off. But here's another one. The second interception, though, by Durant. Actually, no, I want to go back to earlier in the game. I want to talk about Omar Spice. One of the fourth down plays, he could have taken it to the house, but he ran into one of his players, and I think he ran into linemen. So I mean, I don't know if you saw that part, but going back, I felt like the Rams should have won that game right there because they had a 7 point lead and they denied them. So I mean, you thought that? I mean, do you agree with that? Maybe that could have sealed the game had he taken it all the way home.
I'm not sure what exact moment you're talking about, partner, but I do remember some sort of interaction in the game when we could have went up or more, but they fought back and
Yeah, for those of you that know, it was in the fourth quarter. It was the drive prior to Chicago's game tying drive. The Rams stopped them on fourth down again. If you look at the replay, you see Omar Spice. It looked like he meant to catch it, but he ran into one of his players, and it just basically became incomplete. But I studied that replay so many times, it looks like the Rams could have sealed it right there, partner, if they would have got a pick six right there. But you know, we saw how it went, so doesn't matter. So let's talk about some points here of the game. As we mentioned right now, the Rams defense denied the Bears on fourth down 3 times, 0 for 3. Were you surprised how Chicago was not able to convert after what happened to them or what they did in the wild card game against the Packers?
yeah, I'm more surprised that our defense stopped them and we left them at 0 out of 3, which was amazing to watch because after what the Bears did to the Packers with fourth down conversions, I was surprised that we stopped them
And
on our
here's
side.
another thing too, partner. Let's talk about okay, so it was 17-17 at the end of regulations. You go back to those 2 fourth down conversions in the first quarter and the fourth quarter. If Chicago would have kicked field goals, their partner, they would have won this game by 3 points, 23-20. Are you surprised that they gambled more and decided to go for touchdowns instead of field goals?
No, because there is a stat thrown out on the live television that I think they lead the NFL in the most four-point fourth down conversions, or they complete the most. So, if
Well,
that
I
was the
mean, I guess it's more of live and die by the fourth eye, as we saw the Detroit Lions a couple of years ago in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. They held a big lead, but they just couldn't hold on to it because they were aggressively heavy going for it on fourth down instead of kicking field goals. Again, they lost that game too. And you look at here, I think, to me, my point, if Chicago would have kicked field goals in those 2 drives, they would have won this game by 3 points.
no, yeah, a lot of Chicago Bears fans were saying that about Ben Johnson not going for it.
Like,
No,
I get you wanna go for it. You wanna go for it, and yeah, it's the playoffs, you wanna make a statement, but there's times where you just have to surrender, just kick a field goal because, again, they took 6 points off the board, in 9 if you count the overtime one, so I mean, it could have gone either way to tell you the truth, but in the end, I just think that the Bears were kind of greedy on that fourth down those few times, and it cost them. And then speaking of that, the Rams offense, we talked about this too. Their offense did not perform well. Puka Nacu didn't have the numbers, neither did Devontae. But I'll give you this: they did step up when it counted to most.
yes, they did. You can't go wrong with them. When they have to step it up, they do step it up. Yeah, I was more of a running type of decent defensive game from us. As you seen, Williams had the 2 touchdowns. He did his above average in running and our slants and our the three target. We use our three tight end formation a lot, in which we will continue to use it, and I like it.
Yeah, the Rams are known to use a double tight end, and they also I'll say this, they can perform well from the shotgun position. It gives Matthew Stafford extra time to find open receivers. And I think being on the shotgun position really helped them benefit him because there was no interceptions, no turnovers. He did have like a fumble, but he was able to recover it, or Kyron Williams was able to recover it. And
Yup.
speaking of Stafford, he had another game-winning drive to his Hall of Fame career. He did it in the wild card game. and he did it here in the divisional round. And how about Matthew Stafford? 7 playoff wins here, all of them with the Rams.
I forgot. Before you mentioned that, I was gonna say I'm glad Kevin Dotson, our O line, was back. He did fantastic. He didn't give up no sacks this game. But
Yeah, I
yep,
mean they did get I mean some of the linemen did give up sacks, but again, Stafford just had that one fumble, but luckily he was able to pick it up back. But again, um, since he's been here in LA, partner, he's won 7 playoff games compared to the 12 years in Detroit where I believe he hasn't even won a playoff game. Or I want to say he's won a playoff game.
just one. Yeah. No, yeah, that shows what the Rams organization, from the GM to the owner to Sean McVay to us, it
It
shows
shows
the 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 amazing coaches we have, because they're already interviewing our defensive coach and our
Yeah,
offensive
Chris
wide
Shula is
receiver.
yeah, they've some teams have asked permission, but because the Rams are in the playoffs, those interviews cannot be done until after the Super Bowl
Next
or
week,
after the season, whenever they're out.
the next
So we'll
next Monday.
yeah, so we'll see what will happen there if Chris Shula does leave. Well, that would be a big thing. You look at maybe Raheem Morris, maybe possibly coming back.
How about
He was fired from Atlanta, and then you also look at
you think about the Bills manager who got fired? I mean
yeah,
coach.
Sean McDermott, and he
Oh
got
yeah.
fired, but there's rumor that he might be picked up soon. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here if Chris Shula does decide to leave. And then we talked about here the Rams have won back-to-back games in bad weather. They won in the rain a week before, and then this week they won in the snow. So how does this show the Rams' mentality, toughness when they go on the road?
Yeah, that shows us last year's mistakes is not gonna catch up to us this year, as we've been proven right in the snow and rain so far. And we'll see what Seattle has to bring this weekend.
Yeah, we also say this too. Despite the strong Bears effort in the fourth quarter, the defense stepped up in overtime after the interception, and you see Devontae Adams' key catch kept the drive going, and then you see Puka Nacua's catch that got them to the 25-yard line, and all they had to do was just get set up and kick a field goal.
Yes, correct, partner. That was an amazing drive, and you can shout out to Nick Melvis, the thick kicker, with the winning field goal.
As you see right here, big number 92. And there's something I do want to say. The Rams special teams has stepped up big ever since that debacle against the Eagles. So ever since this guy came up to kick, that special teams hasn't really failed the Rams at all.
Yeah, I love it. So that was a smart choice by whoever had that eye on with that special team coach dismissal.
And then we do want to talk about right now the playoff bracket. This is the playoff bracket as of today.
One
You
game away, partner. One game
one game
away.
away. You see, it's going to be Championship Sunday. You see, the Rams have conquered the Cats. They've conquered the Bears, the Kings of the North, and now a rematch with the rival Seattle Seahawks. Now, here's the schedule. So Denver and New England will play first. That'll be around 12:30, followed by the Rams. That game will be, by the way, that game will be on CBS. And then the Rams and Seahawks game will be on Fox. It'll be around 3:30. And I believe, partner, you're going to go to SoFi for the watch party.
Yes, I ended up getting 5 tickets for the watch party that will be at the SoFi Stadium. Free parking will be provided for all the fans in attendance, and it's gonna be a great one, man.
And will there be free food?
No, not free food. There's gonna be concession stands. There's gonna be drinks like a normal
Oh man, yeah, I'm sure that's gonna cost a lot of money.
yeah, but at least there's free parking. That was a big one.
Yeah, it is. So again, if you do want to attend the watch party, visit the Rams website.
They're
I
sold out
believe
though, partner.
oh, they're sold out. Okay,
Yeah,
so they're sold out. Let's say space is limited, but they're sold out.
they're sold
And
out.
well, if you cannot make it there, you can watch it anywhere and you can watch it on Fox. Fox will bring it to you this Sunday, Championship Sunday.
And
The
there will be a
winners will go to
3:30
Super
PM
Bowl,
start. 3:30 PM start.
and the winners will go to Super Bowl 60. Is that correct?
Yup, up north. We might have to take a drive.
Well, I mean, the 49ers, I'll tell you right now, they're pretty angry now after getting blown out. Also, one more thing too, partner. Their defensive coordinator Robert Salas is going to be the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. What do you think of that?
Yeah, and he will be calling the defensive plays for them, which
So
I
we'll see if the 49ers will be in another rebuilding season. But I gotta tip my hats off to them because they've been good regardless of what's happened. Even with those injuries,
I
this
feel like
team had a chance to be the number one seed. But even though they came up short, but
oh,
they did take out the defending champions. But then after once you got to Seattle, I just think the injured bug just caught up to them really bad.
I know this might be a little bit off topic, but the Chargers just expected to hire Mike McDaniel as their OC.
Yeah, and I believe he's the one that was fired from Miami,
Yeah,
head coach of the Dolphins.
yeah. So there's already so much moves already going before the.
Yeah, yeah, I think John Harbaugh is with the Giants. Mike Tomlin stepped down, don't know where he'll end up. And then Sean McDermott just lost his job. So a lot of coaching scenarios going on here in the NFL. Again, we'll stay with sports talk on our other YouTube channel. We'll bring you updates as soon as the Rams run is over, which it'll
But
be.
partner, how does the schedule work? So there's gonna be a bye week before the Super Bowl
Yeah,
because
I believe from my understanding is they get a week or 1 or 2 weeks off.
Mhm.
I believe it's a week off because the week of the Super Bowl
Pro
is where
Bowl.
they have all those events and then the Pro Bowl games, all that.
Yeah.
So it'll be the Super Bowl will be in February. So again, once we get confirmation of all the events, we will update you either here or on Sports Talk. But hopefully we'll
Partner,
stay here.
partner, what you think? The Patriots Rams Super Bowl again?
Well, here's the thing. There's two options: Rams Patriots or Rams Broncos. I'll tell you right now, if I'm gonna say a big if because I don't know if it's gonna happen. If the Broncos win, I would like to take on the Broncos because Bo Nix is out, and they're gonna rely on a rookie backup. But again, Tom Brady was like that, and he won a Super Bowl. We saw Steve Young take over Joe Montana. He won a Super Bowl. Aaron Roethlisberger won a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl after years in Brett Favre's shadows. So it can happen.
It can.
It can
And
happen. So we'll see how
Broncos
that goes.
defense is up there with
But I
with
am going to be paying attention to that first game because I would like to see who the Rams will play if they can get past Seattle because that'll be the big upset. By the way, Seattle is favored to win by 3 points over the Rams. So we'll see
yes,
how
and I
that goes.
feel
And
like
that brings us up here, partner. The next game, the NFC Championship game again. You can see that on Fox. If you're not able to attend the watch party, it'll be Sunday 3:30 on Fox in Seattle. You earn the right to go to the Super Bowl if you win.
yes, sir, and we're gonna get that sweet um revenge that we just lost versus them.
And you brought up a good point, and that leads us to our final point here. The key notes here. This season, both teams won at home. As you see, the Rams barely edged the Seahawks on a 61-yard missed field goal at the end back in October for the Rams to take over first place. And then you go back to the week before Christmas where that crazy Thursday night matchup where the Seattle Seahawks won on a 2-point attempt after the Rams had a 16-point lead going into the fourth quarter. And we talked about this before, partner. After this game, they went to Atlanta and they played flat. That loss was still on their mind, but they were able to get back to their winning ways to at least wrap up the season on a high note. Let's talk about this really quick here. I think the Rams are going to remember this. This just has to be personal for them because they know they should have won this game.
Yes, that's what I like about the advantage for us Rams coming into this game and not giving back and not gonna let that happen again what we just witnessed on the 18th a month ago, which hopefully the Rams come up victorious out there in Seattle, no mistakes. We earned the right.
Yeah, indeed, partner. I just think that that 2-point play was ridiculous. It should not have been like it shouldn't have counted. But again, the Rams defense did fail them at the end because Seattle marched down the field and they gave up the game on a 2-point try after they took the lead late, first in overtime. So I'm sure the Rams are going to remember this game. I know it's going to be in their heads because look, it took them a long time to get over this, partner. Again, they came out and they played sloppy in Atlanta, even though they had a chance to win. And again, I know there were some controversial calls here, but now if you're the Rams, you have to win this game if you want to win this game, here's a couple of things. You have to put pressure on Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold played incredible against the 49ers. Also,
Yeah, the injury.
with their injuries to the running back game, Kenneth Walker is the lone running back. You're gonna have to step up and players like Jared Verse and Byron Young and Landman and all the inside linemen, they have to stop him at the line of scrimmage. You cannot let him get loose because he is gonna turn beast mode now that he's gonna get more of the carries, not that his companion's been injured.
Yeah, and I feel like if the Rams, we keep our running game going and doing it good with Kyron Williams and Kurum and get that defensive team tired for the Seahawks, we have a great advantage to take over. And but our defense has to come and, like you said, stop Darnold because he came into last week with an injury versus the 49ers, so I'm surprised he started throwing a lot, but with that injured Zach Corbenet, so with Kenneth Walker, we'll see what they could do with just one
Yeah, and keep
running.
in mind also, partner, I think the wild card of this game will be Cooper Cup. He didn't have any good numbers against the Rams in both meetings. He has been mentoring the receivers, which have they really gotten better here. So that receiving core has to be stopped. Also, look for Cooper Cup. I'm gonna say this right now as a prediction. Look for Cooper Cup to have a big game against the Rams. The reason I'm saying it because he's Cooper Cup has stepped up in big games, in big time plays, in big time games before. He did it here with the Rams a few times, especially during that Super Bowl run. Expect him to come out of that shadows and have a big game. So the pressure will be on the Rams defense and also Matthew Stafford. The pressure will be on him. That defense really gobbled up San Francisco badly, just giving up 6 points. And I'll say this right now, if the Rams have a chance, they have to score points. They did it before, and I believe they could do it again. Get Puka Nacu involved. Get Devontae Adams involved early. Also, you have Tyler Higbee. You also have players like Tutu Atwell. He's been MIA. They got the running game too. Blake Corum and Kyron Williams, 1-2 combination. So everything's on the line here. Everyone has to come out and step up, including the defense. If they can play like the way they did against Chicago, they can do it here in Seattle.
Yeah, partner, and I'm very excited because we're literally one game away and versus our division rival, the Seahawks, in tough environment, one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL. I feel like we have a chance. We have a high chance of getting the victory.
Okay, as we wrap up here, partner, what are your final thoughts before we get into Championship Sunday?
We just gotta rest up. There's a couple injuries we are watching. Brian Young, he will be limited practice this week. Um, Emmanuel Forbes as well will be limited with shoulder injury, but Sean McVay did mention everybody should be ready to go for next week in the big, huge, one of the most important games for the Rams this year so far, and see if we come up victorious.
And a lot's at stake here between both teams because it has been more than 10 years since the Seahawks have been to the NFC Championship game. The last time they were there was back in 2014. That was where they beat the Green Bay Packers in the NFC title game, as well documented. The Rams, the last time they've been here was just a couple of years ago after the COVID season in 21. They beat the 49ers in dramatic fashion to go to the Super Bowl. And we all saw what happened here. So a lot's at stake here. And I know we talked about the AFC a little bit. Is who will be a better match for the Rams? I would have to say Denver because New England is just too powerful. Mike Gabriel, he's done a well job in New England, and I think the Patriots will give the Rams a tough choice. So your best bet is for the hope the Broncos win, and then the Rams can take care of business, and then they can beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl. But again, doesn't work out that way here in the NFL. That's why they play the game.
Yes, sir, partner. So we'll see what's up for this weekend, and we'll see if we'll have a post game show or pregame show before it starts.
Yeah, we'll update everyone on how things are. But again, Sunday will be Championship Sunday. The first game will be at 12:30 on CBS between the Broncos and the Patriots, and then at 3:30 on Fox, it'll be the Rams and Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. Again, if you're going to the watch party, I believe you have to be there at a certain time. Not sure what time the doors will open, but stay tuned to Rams.com for instructions. And again, you can also watch the game on Fox on Sunday, and we will have a recap show Stay tuned here on Rams Talk on our channel. Again, we want to thank you for joining us here on this brief recap of the NFC divisional game. Jay, any final words before we head out?
Whose house?
Simple, Rams house.
Let's go, partner. I can't wait. Let's get it.
All right, everybody, wherever you go, just make sure you have a safe time, have fun, drink responsibly, be responsible, no crazy stuff, and we'll see you guys here for the Super Bowl prep week as well, if the Rams can make it through on Sunday. So that'll be it here. We'll see you guys next time, partner. What do we always say in the business?
Another day, another podcast. Let's go,
Alrighty.
Rams.
Alrighty, folks. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time here on Rams Talk.